Welcome in, everyone. This is week 8 of the Fumbling Gurus podcast. This week we are celebrating the Halloween edition. I'll start off with G-Man here. G-Man, he is a referee. He may state that differently, but G-Man, go ahead with your intro.
I am a Bucks fan. I'm also a member of the greatest team in the NFL, the black and white shirts.
All right, appreciate the appearance today, G-Man. And
Yeah, no problem.
we might be missing Finn. Finn, would you like to show us your costume today?
How's everybody doing? Hope everyone's having a good time.
So is this what Finsational actually stands for?
Blood in the water right now in the Dolphins organization, and I'm here to show that there is in fact blood in the water.
Looks
Oh
like you're getting
man,
ate by a shark. Kind of hilarious.
that's awesome epic costume, Finn.
Hey, thank you
All
very
right,
much.
and then of course I'm Sick Stomach, the host for today. I'm wearing my Matrix semi-Matrix jacket for the week. All right, let's jump
Uh,
into it. We have some items to cover today, some exciting updates and reveals from last week. I believe Finn finally got his multi-point week in his picks, first one this season. So we'll be jumping into that. Um, so yeah, we just start off this week. I kind of want to go over a couple of the teams from the previous week, and then we can jump into. I know we're heading into like the trade deadline. Finn may have some things to say about that, and then of course our picks for the week. So starting off, we had a couple exciting games in the last couple weeks here. We'll start off. I'll jump around a little bit with Cincinnati and Baltimore. Um, Man, that was it, to me. That game came out of kind of nowhere. I know Cincinnati's a good team. I know they had that potential, but man, against the Ravens, who seem to be defying everything this season, and they come out and pretty much demolish them. The only rusher on that team that could get anything going, I believe he's the only one that even really had more than 15 or 20 yards, was Lamar Jackson. Of course, they have injuries there, but they just could not get things going. Too much pressure. That Cincinnati defense really shut them down. So, G-Man, I'll kind of start off with you. Any thoughts about that game? Anything that stood out to you there?
Look, was I 41 to 17? Did any of us expect that? I know I didn't. Like the Ravens, they're pretty good, and they've been on a roll and on a tear in the NFL, and all of a sudden they get shut down by the Bengals. I didn't expect it.
Yeah,
It was a good game. Good game. Well, not good game. Good game for the Bengals. Not good game for the Ravens.
yeah, for sure. Finn, we'll jump over to you as well. Any thoughts?
I've got some thoughts on this. First off, when I was looking at picks, I looked at that game. I believe it's 7 point spread for the Ravens, and I said, "Man, I can't pick that because I could actually see Cincinnati winning outright." And that's because Joe Burrow throwing to that rookie receiver, and it that connection was unbelievable. It's been unbelievable all year. I
Hmm.
believe that Chase um, and Jamar Chase is leads the league at not just like this week, but in NFL history through 7 games for a rookie receiver. I mean, what he is doing this year is ridiculous. And Joe Burrow's playing out of his mind, which I'll be honest, I may not have been the biggest Joe Burrow fan when he was coming out of college, being honest. And they really, really put it on it, showing that they are a real team in that division. And I kind of figured, I always thought they were kind of a year or two away. I don't
Hmm.
like their head coach. I didn't really like their quarterback. Jamar Chase didn't play last year. He opted out due to COVID, and I thought he was going to come out a little sluggish. And I've been wrong on all accounts. Cincinnati is for real, and I will not be surprised to see them push deep into the playoffs the way they're playing right now. Now, I think they lack some depth, so they are, we'll see how they can stay healthy. But so far, what they're doing, I mean, it defies the laws of football. They get rid of AJ Green and they plug in a rookie and doing more than they ever expected.
Yeah, yeah, it makes that organization and that I guess the office there look like geniuses with some of those moves. Yeah, I think I agree. I think one of the things too for myself is, are they peaking a little too early? I think they, to me at least, they seem to be kind of, this is their top team right now. Can they sustain having this level of gameplay through the rest of the year, through the playoffs, etc.? Because it is, we're about halfway through the season, so it's still a ways to go before the playoffs. So having to maintain that, I guess we'll see if they have that in them.
For sure. Although I do think that T. Higgins and some of those other guys will actually improve as the year goes on. They've kind of started off a little sluggish.
Mm-hmm.
The connection's been about Jamar Chase, and I think that will only improve. So I do kind of agree with you on that. I wonder how much can the Bengals continue, especially if they receive an injury or two. But their offense, I actually think, will improve as the year goes on, which is scary. League needs to take notice.
Mm-hmm. For sure, yeah. I know last year I had the Mahomes and I picked up Kelsey, but that was kind of the combo for the last couple of years is pick up a quarterback and wide receiver combo. And I mean the Burrow to Jamar Chase combo, I don't think there's a better one out there right now. It's
No,
it's
no,
insane.
and I went up against that one in my fantasy league. So I needless to say, I got crushed.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. It was a 82-yard touchdown, I believe.
Something like that.
Not to remind you or anything, but
Thanks for that.
all right, yeah, we can we can jump in here. The other game I wanted to touch on was last night, Green Bay against Arizona. I know we talked about this a couple weeks ago with the undefeated teams. When are they going to get their first loss? When is that challenge going to come? And we said Week 8 was going to be it for a lot of teams. And I think that came true. They had the versus Green Bay, even though it was injured Green Bay. I believe it was top 3 wide receivers were out. Top cornerbacks were out. They had some offensive and defensive linemen that were out, all pros. So it was a beat up team that went against the undefeated team. And I think it showed the quarterback strength of being able to get that team together and have that proficiency. There were even some plays where clearly they didn't even know what they were doing. They had to take delayed games, they had to take multiple timeouts, and still came in and got it done, even though maybe a little bit of luck there at the end. Finn, I'll start off with you this time. Thoughts on the game last night?
Yeah, for sure. 2 thoughts. Number one is greatest quarterback to ever wear number 12 stepped on the football field and did what he does, and that is win games. And it may not have been the prettiest game, but he did
Thank
it.
you, G-Man.
And it it shows just how elite that guy is. I mean, without the top 3 receiver units, missing their left tackle, missing their center, and go and beat the undefeated team in Arizona. Way to go, Green Bay. That's my team. Second, that game right there just got Brian Flores fired. I believe that if you can't go, I want to say, oh, well, the Dolphins lost to Jacksonville because they were out their starting 2 corners. They were out their top 3 receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, we can make excuses, right? No, stop. Green Bay went to Arizona on a short week, missing half their team, and walked out of there with a win. Now, you tell me, what did Brian Flores do? He lost to a team that went 0-20. Forget it. That shows just what a good team is and what a bad team is. What a good coach is, what a bad coach is. What an elite quarterback does, and what a quarterback that's trying to play at an elite level does. And I will admit that while I did my best, I did fall asleep at the end of the game where it got very exciting. I didn't read and stuff. What was going on with the time management at the end of that game? Trying to score with like 2 seconds left. The Packers not running the ball with their big running back on 4th and 1. There was a lot of questionable decisions. However, my boy Aaron Jones looks great, getting that TD, lots of receiving yards. That's what I like to see. And yeah, Green Bay, way to go. 72 Dolphins, pop that champagne, enjoy it. Another year of being the only team ever to go undefeated and win a Super Bowl 17-0. That's what I'm talking about. Back to you.
Yeah, I think the end of that game was crazy. One of the things for myself with I think it was Aaron Jones that was rushing for the touchdown there, and I didn't. And even the commentators mentioned this through some of their discussions that there really wasn't any video evidence to overturn that touchdown. Everything we saw, you couldn't see the ball, you couldn't see the goal line. So that was a really weird call to me because it didn't have distinct, undeniable evidence that the ball did not cross the line. I mean, I don't know. It just seems opposite of everything. Usually, everything stands, and all of a sudden they decide, "Hey, this was not a touchdown." I mean, it looked short, but we didn't have definitive evidence. Yeah, G-Man, your thoughts on the game and potentially the ending there as well.
Okay, 3 things. Don't question my play sick. And Finn, you don't have the second best quarterback to wear the number 12. So Dolphins, sorry, you got Tua.
Hold on. I said the greatest quarterback to ever wear number 12.
The second.
Clearly, I'm
Second
referring
best.
to Aaron Rodgers.
Second, I know, second best.
Who's
But
the best?
he is not on. He is not on the Dolphins.
He's not. He's on the Packers.
And third thing is, it was very weird watching Ertz in black and red. He did pretty well. I think that watching that game, I think that the Cardinals just kind of shot themselves in the foot a couple times with that face mask call after they got the touchdown. It was reversed because he had his hand in his face like this the entire way to the end zone. So stuff like that, and that 90 yards in 1 minute at the very end was insane. That was insane. But like Finn said, they could have tied it. But they ran it, or they passed it, and saddest interception I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, Green Bay KO'd the Cardinals. Put 1L on the record. So
yeah. I think you brought up
Green Bay.
Definitely some good points. I felt the same way with Ertz. I know I haven't followed him potentially as much, but it was weird. Like, he seems a natural fit for that offense. He's doing really well. It's his second week and he's destroying it.
But
yeah, I think that was a great move by them to acquire him, and clearly someone that just came in straight away and is helping out that offense.
What was AJ Green doing at the end? I mean, it almost looked like he was blocking as though it was a run play, but with no timeouts. That's not what he was doing. He's an all-pro. You know what that was? That was a Bengals play. That was while he was with the Bengals, that is what they were known for. And it's almost like he forgot that he was on an undefeated team that was playing for the first pick of the draft.
I think a ghost tapped him on the shoulder and he looked over this way when the other guy was this way, right?
Yeah, it was a very odd interception, but I cannot say in good conscience that was the saddest interception I've ever seen. That has to go to the Marshawn Lynch. Just run the ball at the 1 yard line on the goal line, and they threw the slant to Butler of the New England Cheaters and got them a Super Bowl victory. To me, that one almost brought a tear to my eye for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, and that was not an easy interception either. He had to one-handed basically stop the momentum, bring it into him, still catch it, stay in bounds. I mean, that was a heck of a play still.
The catch was good. The catch was good.
For sure.
That's all I got to say. The catch was good.
You're hired, G-Man. No, you don't have to convince us.
Hey, that's what I'm here for.
It was very bitter that the ball on the punt goes off the fingertips.
Yeah.
And the play gets reversed. And now we have had 2 back-to-back weeks for Miami where the ball has hit the opposing player and the officials, G-Man, turn a blind eye and don't give Miami the ball. I'm just saying, you know what I mean.
It's bright out there in Miami. Just gotta, sometimes, we don't see everything.
Blood in the water.
Oh.
All right, moving on a little bit. I think one team I wanted to discuss too was, I mean, I think we discuss them every week where we're kind of maybe giving them a benefit of the doubt. There was something potentially was going on. They were playing a good team, etc. But the Chiefs, man, the Chiefs, man, playing the Titans, not necessarily a. I mean, Titans are a good team. I don't think we can say they aren't anymore. But still a team that may not be one of the top teams that we consider in the league, that we have been considering, and they demolished Kansas City. No touchdowns, barely a couple field goals. They were trying to make plays happen, nearly injuring themselves. So man, they just did. Chiefs did just not show up this week. Of course, Derrick Henry and the Titans continue doing what they've done week in and week out. G-Man, we'll start with you on this. Your thoughts on, I guess, both the Titans being a team we're going to consider a great team almost, and then the Chiefs, do we consider them rebuilding this year? What's going on with them?
Look, I mean, it's week 8, and if you're a Chiefs fan, I think it's kind of time to panic a little bit because you're almost halfway through the season and you're 3-4, and that's not a good look for somebody who was in the Super Bowl a couple years back. And I don't know. I want to see them do good, but I think this is probably one of the years that they sneak in with a wild card win or wild card, maybe not a win, but probably one of the wild card years.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're going to really have to start stepping it up because there's a lot of teams, especially in their division, that are, keeping their record strong. And the Chiefs just time in and time, these are the games they need to win to have on their resume at the end of the year. Finn, we'll pass it over to you as well with both of the same topics there.
I think it's very fitting that Henry is on the team called the Titans. I mean, that dude is a titan on that football field. He's so good. He's so strong. He's so fast. What he does on that field, it's ridiculous. It's incredible. And I don't, we can't sit there and deny this team. I mean, Henry is so good. They have AJ Brown, a different color, when, as long as he doesn't eat Chipotle, and Julio Jones, if he can get healthy, and that offense is going to be very tough to stop. The defense does have its question marks, but they've been playing better of late. I am big on the Kansas City to relax. You've got Mahomes. No, they seem to be the ball's not bouncing their way at all this year. I mean, it's something like half of Mahomes' interceptions have come off of fingertips. It's insane. They're guys that don't fumble the ball are fumbling the ball. Guys that don't drop the ball are dropping the ball. They let Sammy Watkins go, and while he's not a centerpiece of an offense, they show that the Chiefs need that receiver that can run routes. Hill, fast. Hardman, fast. Kelsey, an amazing tight end, runs great routes. But they don't have that guy that can just get open, a Jarvis Landry, a Watkins, that type of player, and it really hurts the offense. Defenses have kind of adjusted, and they have struggled. They're struggling. Their offense is still scoring points. They're still moving the ball downfield. But now it's like at any point there's a mistake made, whether it's a holding, whatever it is, it seems to put the team way behind the marks. And they're not scoring on 2-3 play drives anymore. Teams are backing up, playing 2 deep safety and saying throw underneath and put together a 16, 17, 18 play drive against us and do it mistake free. And they haven't been able to do that. Yeah. So the Chiefs are in trouble. And I don't know if they make the playoffs this year. You look at that division, you've got the Chargers, you've got the Raiders. I mean, those guys are no slouches. You've got, the Ravens, Cincinnati, they're playing lights out. You've got a lot of teams that, I mean, shoot, the Colts are picking it back up. And, you've got a lot of teams that the Chiefs are going to have to jump to have a chance at the wild card. And I don't see it this year. Maybe they could sneak in the last seed, but they've got a lot of trouble. I mean, they're like one of the worst defenses in the NFL, if not the worst. Their passing offense is still great, but again, one mistake and they're in trouble.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you bring up some points too to maybe hit on that. Um, I think they've relied on big plays. They've relied on, I wouldn't say fancy plays, but out of the box plays. And I think maybe that's coming back to bite them. Like you're saying, passes going off the fingertips. If they aren't perfect with the way they play, they're going to make mistakes. They're not a team like Derrick Henry that just runs it up the gut. If they go out and they're not on their game, they're going to have these mistakes and these turnovers just because of the style of play that they typically have.
I will say though, you can never overlook them
No,
because Mahomes is still Mahomes, and Mahomes does things every week that makes you go, "My goodness, this dude's a human being." I mean,
yeah,
he's a monster.
for sure. All right. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll kind of switch gears here and jump into some of the trade deadline coming up. So, of course, November 2nd is the deadline there, and a couple players that I kind of wanted to hit on that have been talks about trades and things in the works. But I guess Finn, since you're maybe the closest here, we can start off with one of the biggest ones that has been in the works, or at least rumored in the works with Watson. Dolphins taking a heavy look, potentially having a deal made, a deal ready, and basically waiting on some of the settlements from the court cases, some of having that cleared up. So if they do trade for him, they know that he's someone they can start and play. So Finn, I wanted to one get an update, see where that might be at, if you have any additional data, and then two, just your thoughts.
Well, I'm gonna get my thoughts out of the way here. Okay. I've said it last podcast. I've said it on my stream. I've said it to friends and family members. If they trade for Deshaun Watson, I will be finding a new team to root for.
Hmm.
End of story. So no, I do not like the idea of them trading any assets for them, let alone anything of high value, such as the rumored 3 first-round picks plus 2 second-round picks and players to be named. No, get out of here with that. So that's first and foremost. Secondly, yes, the Houston Texans camp has said that Miami has a deal in place. And it's kind of like this. Hey, sick. I'm sorry, G-Man, me and you will definitely hang out if one of us meet each other in the same state. Well, we don't have plane tickets. Yeah, the Texans said, I'm putting quotes here, guys. Miami has a trade in place. But that's only assuming that all the legal issues go away. There's 22 women that have put things out in front of him. He's supposed to be in grand jury in like 2 months from now.
Hmm.
The two of the women are not trying to settle and are not doing civil cases. They are strictly criminal cases. This is not going to settle tomorrow. This isn't going to settle Monday. And I don't buy it. I just don't. I believe what is happening is the Texans want this trade out now. They want it done and finished with. And they have been drumming up saying, oh, Miami, they're pushing. And then they go, oh, but there's now other teams interested. And then they go, but guys, we have other teams even more interested. You guys should up your offer. And teams are like, no, we're not the dude's untouchable right now.
Hmm.
So I would be absolutely shocked if any team makes the trade. There's speculation that the Panthers were interested, and then their team were like, nope, we're good. Miami has just said today that Tua is their quarterback for 2021, barring any injuries. Granted, they can't exactly say, unless we trade for somebody, but I don't think the trade happens. Honestly, the NFL is not like baseball, right? There's not a lot of buyers, there's not a lot of sellers towards the trade deadline. And I think you may have seen, honestly, the biggest trade of the year already occur, and that's the Patriots trading an All-Pro injured corner to Carolina for next 2 years from now, 6th-round pick. Or maybe the big trade of quarterbacks of Joe Flacco going to the New York Jets. it doesn't make sense to be a lot of trade action this year, but definitely Watson stay at home, untouchable.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, to make that deal within the deadline and have, like the Dolphins are saying, we want certain aspects to be guaranteed or be able to play them. I don't know. It seems far fetched, and like you, I kind of hope they aren't willing to take that into consideration. But yeah, I guess stranger things have happened. So how does the Miami fan base? How do you feel? Tua's reacting to this. Do you think he's feeling unwanted there in Miami?
His exact quote was, "I don't feel not unwanted." That's not exactly saying I feel wanted here.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think I think the fact that this hasn't gone away, no one's come forward and said, yeah, no, they're not interested at all. I think that there's a lot of chatter that Tua is not the guy. And while I'm going to disagree, and while I know other people disagree, there's a huge portion of people in that office that kind of go, I don't know if he has a big enough arm. I don't know if he's the guy that can lead us to the to the Super Bowl, lead us to the where we want to go.
Hmm.
And that's the big question, right? Is he the guy? And right now that they don't seem to be sold on that. It doesn't help that in the same draft class you have Joe Burrow who's lighting it up, and you have Justin Herbert who's lighting it up, and Tua granted over the last 2 weeks he is the PFF's Pro Football Focus number fourth ranked quarterback. Last week, he threw 38 of 40 passes that were accurate. And I believe it was 38 of 40 passes hit the receiver's hands, which is, insane.
Hmm.
And, you know, I think he's the guy. I think you can build around him. I think you can win with him. But in the fan base, I will say this. So there have been many polls. I have seen polls from the Miami Herald. I've seen from the Palm Beach Post. I've seen 3 yards per carry, all put out polls about should the Dolphins trade for Watson or keep Tua. And I'm just going to tell you 70 to 80% of Dolphin fans think like I do and say no to Watson, keep Tua.
Hmm. I mean, you're asking your fan base basically to have like a moral decision. Can I root for this team that has this person I may not have the same views as, I may not have even the same morals as, and my team actively seeked him out and brought him onto the team. What am I supposed to do about that?
So Chris Kaufman, who goes by Twitter at CK Parrot, he was talking about you know this exact situation, right?
Hmm.
Look, we have bad guys in the NFL: Tyreek Hill, Nick
Mm-hmm.
Chubb, Ben Roethlisberger.
You could go,
I mean,
yeah. You could go
we
on
yeah,
for days.
yeah, I'm not going to do that. But those guys get onto your team after the fact.
Yeah.
You don't you don't typically seek out that guy. I mean, the Browns took a lot of uh, they got a lot of issues when the Chiefs cut Nick Chubb and the Browns claimed him off waivers, and they were like, "Wait a second, the dude kicked his pregnant girlfriend. You can't do that." Well, at least they didn't trade assets for him.
Yeah.
You've got a guy who's an alleged rapist with 22 women stepping forward, and you're now going to offer 3 first-round picks and make him your franchise quarterback, the face of the franchise. I mean, when you say Dolphins, you say Watson. That is what they would be doing. We laugh, we think it's hilarious because of how stupid it
Yeah.
sounds.
Mm-hmm.
But that is what they would be doing if they did it. If any organization did it, if the Eagles did it, if the Panthers did it, Washington football team did it. Maybe Washington football team needs to do it with everything going on in that case. But it is really, really, really bad look for any franchise to do it. And no, I don't want him here.
Mm. Yeah, I don't blame you. It's a very, I mean, it's not complicated, but it's a very complicated situation, and yeah,
For a second, you were gonna say it was not. It's a touchy situation. I was like, no, that's what got him in trouble.
I
You
avoided
can't do that.
I avoided that verbiage. Uh,
Holding.
oh man.
Okay. I'm done. But here's the thing, though. Like, if they didn't offer a king's ransom for him, I think that they should have sold him for as low as they could just to get him off the roster,
Hmm.
because now no one's gonna touch him. And so,
Unless the legal stuff clears up.
yeah, that's hard though. Because 22 women, do you think it's really gonna clear up?
Make settlements. Do what rich people do.
Hmm.
I mean, that's the reality is that you wait till it clears up and then you have a bidding war and it's highest team wins.
But even if it does clear up, doesn't the NFL still have
Sure,
penalties that they can put against him?
they could, but so they slap a 6 game suspension on him, and you're now getting a 26-year-old quarterback who's a top five at his position, and you just lose him for 6 games. Slap on the wrist.
Yeah, suppose so.
I mean,
That
that's
really
what a
sucks.
lot of the mandates and fees. I mean, even looking at, I know this is a little different, but looking at the wave from the Cowboys receiver, CD Lamb, at the end of the game, fined $10,000 for waving, taunting an opponent essentially. I mean, that's a drop in the bucket for him. What do I care? I taunted the team, I beat them, and storched them for a touchdown. Same thing like you're talking about here. If there's going to be a change, if there's going to be any type of mandates that the NFL wants to put this in place and wants to change the culture, it has to be something that actually gives a penalty to teams that keep players like this on their roster.
The NFL doesn't want that. Let's be real. The NFL doesn't want that. They don't care about that. They want the perception that they're doing something,
Mm-hmm.
but they have no problem having bad guys that draw fans in.
Yeah, I mean it's entertainment, right? He's a top five quarterback, am I really going to let a top five? I mean, these are one in hundreds of millions of people that can play football this way. Really going to let him slip through my fingers for a little bit of legal trouble, So.
Michael Vick, I mean, people think that dogs, a lot of people think dogs are hold a more special place than humans. And you know what Vic did and how terrible he was. He had jail time and still
Mm-hmm.
signed with the Eagles. So
Yep.
it's a tricky situation. The NFL cares about selling seats, selling tickets, and if they think Watson can help with that, they're not gonna not let him get in trouble. But if he's out of trouble, certainly they're not gonna ban him from the NFL.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I don't know if he goes anywhere. I think it's too late. Everybody's kind of looking at him like, I don't know, legal troubles. Do we really want that?
Not for the 2021 year. I think next offseason there'll be more clarity on the situation, and then you'll see what's going to happen. Which is definitely a huge detour for kind of what we started talking on the trade deadline. Got
Yeah.
deeper into the Watson situation, but it is the one of the biggest storylines in the NFL right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is what's going to happen with Watson, and is a team willing to make that trade? I don't think a trade happens. I don't think any team's willing. Even if the Dolphins get destroyed Sunday, I don't think it moves the needle. And there's a lot of talk about maybe that will move the needle, but I hope not.
Yeah. Yeah, I know they have a big game coming up. All right, yeah, we did get a little off topic, but that's cool. We can go ahead and skip ahead into our picks from the last couple weeks. So, Finn, I think we'll start off with you. You again, teased a little bit earlier, your first multi-point week of the season. We have some debate here as well, so this will give a good segue into last week's episode as well. So, if you'd like to cover your locks and your upsets, and we'll jump into the Miami game after that.
I love that you said cover, and that's very important on this. So absolutely, I said without a doubt that you don't bet against the greatest quarterback to ever wear number 12 and Green Bay. We talked
Second
about
best.
them Thursday night game, but they went in and they destroyed Washington and walked out of there with a W. and definitely covered. I think they won by like 16 or 20 points, and it was only an 8-point spread.
Mm-hmm.
I said the Colts are a team that looks like they are on the rebound. They've been playing lights out. They're getting some guys back. They got Quentin Nelson back. Things are looking up for them. Carson Wentz is playing like he did in Philly without throwing all the picks and fumbles. And they went in and destroyed San Francisco, who I said was overrated. By destroyed, I think they won by like a field goal or something. It was a pretty tight game. And then we get to the Miami game.
No, it was 30 to
It was
18.
yeah.
Oh, never mind. They destroyed. Like I said, destroyed them. Never a doubt. I will. Okay. Before we get into the Dolphins game, I will gladly admit that I watched the least amount of football I have ever watched, probably in 10 years, in a decade. Last week, I walked out of my room, walked out of my house, took my dog on a mile walk, and I sat down on a bench and I went to go look at the water. I needed to get away. I needed a nice, peaceful place. And I just want to tell you that when I sat down on that bench, the skies decided to show me their gratitude and opened up and rained on me.
Sounds about right.
So we can discuss this Dolphins game, and I would like to here. Again, the Dolphins were playing with all this Deshaun Watson talk. They were at home against the terrible Atlanta Falcons. And the first drive, I sent the text in the group chat there. Man, it is so much fun to watch Tua play. I love the way he plays the game. He was accurate. He had a nice little sidestep. He kept the offense moving. He throws a touchdown. It looked pretty. It looked nice. It looked easy. And then the next thing you know, it was like 17-7. And things went from not great to really, really bad. And when that happened, I got mad. I got agitated. I was frustrated. Side note, there was something else going on as well. And I just did not want to deal with it. So I walked out. Well, since I walked out, the Dolphins came back. They battled and took the lead by a point with like 2-3 minutes left in the game, something
Mm-hmm.
like that. And Atlanta then moved right down the field and set up the game-winning field goal, and they won the game by 2 points. And this is where the debate happens, because I picked the Miami Dolphins, who were 2.5 points, 2.5 points underdogs, which means in the betting world, they were up by 2.5 points. And if you add 2.5 points to the final score, the Dolphins win by 0.5 point. And in the podcast, I mentioned the fact that I thought that the Dolphins were going to win outright, but that at the very least would keep it close and win by even if they lost, they would lose by a point or two, which they did. And the question is, do I deserve a point for saying Miami was going to win outright?
I feel
But
like
also, if go ahead.
we'll have G-Man will have the final say here. He's the referee for the night. I'll do my defense here. This is my defense speech. You can't say both, man. You can't say that you think they're going to win outright and they're going to cover the spread by a couple points. You gotta. I think this is we should have made you be more decisive. Potentially, it might be on us a little bit, but I don't know. You mentioned they were going to win outright. That's what I remembered when I reviewed the podcast. You said Miami's going to win outright.
And I will say that I did say that I thought Miami was going to win outright. And if you put gun to my head and said no betting odds who's going to win, I would have said Miami wins that game. But we have always done by the spread. And I did say that Miami would cover the spread. And they did.
All right. Well, I guess heading into final decisions, G-Man, he is in last right now. Taking a look at the score for the year, G-Man, you're top with 10 points. I'm at 9 points. Finn's at 8.
Is it fair? Is it Is it fair that I got a point for the exact same thing? That's my thing. I got a point for doing the exact same thing. I did mention the spread less than he did, and I still got the point.
All right.
So I'd almost have to give it to him. If I didn't do that and I failed and I didn't get that point, I would be on your side. But I did win that, and I did get that point, so it's unfair for me. As a ref, I'm all for fairness. I have to give him the point.
That's debatable, but all right,
I,
fair enough.
I have to give him the point. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
This,
I don't like to see him. I don't like to see him clean sweep that, but I have to
dude,
give
now
it
you
to
just
him.
look like you're in a Katy Perry video, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I just from my side, I feel like I've been screwed over by this point cover
know.
system every way possible at this point. So just keep that in the back. When I need a point, just keep that in the back of
Got
your mind.
you.
I'll put this shirt back on and I will give you the point. I will give you the point.
All right. So Finn, you officially went 3-0 this week. Welcome back, man.
Turning it around right here. This is it.
Don't like
Follow
it.
me for all betting advice possible.
I'm still up by 1, so
All right, I'll take off mine since one of my picks was the same as Finn's. I picked Green Bay over Washington football team, so we both got a point there. One of the games that I mentioned and picked as a game that I really wanted to see a win and an upset was Titans over Kansas City, which we discussed. So another point for myself there. I was kind of sad to see that actually happen, but then again, I think it makes for a little more drama in the league. So yeah, so two points so far, and then the dreaded spread and point coverage. I even said this last week. I keep flip flopping and I keep picking the wrong thing. But man, the Bucks just steamrolled the Bears. It wasn't even close, 38-3, I believe, in the end. So I thought it was going to be closer. I thought it was. Bucks seem to be either hot or cold every week. Definitely hot this week. Brady with over 4 touchdowns, I believe, or 4 touchdowns on the day, I believe. So yeah, no point for myself there. I did pick them to win, but I picked them to be, essentially within that spread, which was already a generous 12-point spread to begin with. So yeah, 2-1 for myself this week. And G-Man, I'll hand it over to you to discuss some of your picks.
Cardinals over the Texans. 17.5-point spread. Killed it. Texans, 5 points. Cardinals, 31 points. What can I say?
It was a heck of a pick.
You were doubting me. You're like, I've never seen a spread that high.
18
And I
points,
said,
man.
bully, sir. But no, I got that point. And then the rest of my picks, I don't even want to talk about because I'm so embarrassed.
Can we talk about the Raiders game for a minute?
No, we can't.
You mean the Eagles game?
Oh yeah, no, I said what I said.
The Raiders game, definitely. I mean, Seattle over New Orleans. I mean, it was a last minute pick. I didn't literally look into it that hard, so I can't really blame myself there. I think that I should probably get the win over that because I think that I said New Orleans over Seattle. So sick. If you want to reverse that call for me, that'd be great.
That would
No?
not have been an upset at that point, then, Mr. Official. Typical official of making excuses. We didn't have the great camera angle.
I didn't have the inside knowledge on that one. But it's an L is an L. But I mean, by 3 points, that was a pretty close game.
Yeah, it was.
Well fought. Now going into my Eagles over the Raiders. My Eagles are a mess. I don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say. Like, I watched that game. I'm just like, I am so tired of watching this game. It's what? Okay, Finn, go ahead.
Would
You
you
probably have
say-
more.
Would you say that the Eagles are in fact manure?
They are manure, but they're the soil that the seed is planted in, and then the flower that is the Eagles will bloom with time.
So for those that are really confused, that is what Sirianni, their head coach, when asked about the game and do they need to do anything differently, said no. What we need to do, we have a good foundation, we have a good layer. We have the right soil. We need the roots to expand. We need the roots to grow. And then as the roots grow, the byproduct will happen and the winds will show themselves as the flower blooms. And what do you need to do? You need to keep watering your plants. You need to water yourself. Are you watering yourself? He asked the players, do you water yourself?
Listen, he is probably a better farmer than he is a football coach. He needs to get like one and done. If they keep him, that'll be a miracle to me. That'll be a miracle to me. I'm like, wow, Howie Roseman.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I feel when you have to start using analogies like that, there's a little bit more going on there.
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't know what he was, in the back. But it's not head coach material, that's for sure. In my opinion.
That's the just give me just take a little more time. We'll get there. Don't worry about it. That's the speech to me.
Yeah. Or I let this team down, not garden analogies, right? Like, just own it.
Maybe he was legit just talking about gardening. Maybe he just
maybe that's what he was doing instead of watching plays. He was reading a gardening magazine.
One thing I wanted to hit on too, talking about Seattle and New Orleans. For the people watching the podcast here, if you're not watching the Monday Night Football Manning show, you need to be watching that. That show is pretty hilarious. They had Tom Brady talking about basically what he thinks of defensive players. No, not too much brains there in his opinion. And then Marshawn Lynch, who dropped an F-bomb on basically live TV and was drinking Hennessy the whole time. So
He had his 3 shots of Hennessy for one for each of them, and then Eli went in the back and did some shots because of that. At least he said he did. That broadcast, when I first watched it week 1, I did not like it. I was like, man, talk about the game a little bit more. I love it. It's so good. I mean, the first thing, Brady gets on and Manny goes, isn't it past your bedtime? Like, what? That's great. He's an old man. He should be in bed.
Don't talk about Brady like that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll take my 15-yard penalty. It was amazing. Drew Brees was a little weak, I thought, to be honest. I expected a little bit more. But Marshawn Lynch, he Marshawned all over that broadcast. It was amazing. It was beautiful. Brady, made every defensive player even more mad at him. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Please square him up and take his head off on a really strong legal hit. I'm kidding. I don't want his head to roll. He's old. Don't break his back. But no, it really is a great broadcast. I love it.
Yeah.
And I have yet to watch it, so I guess I'm missing out.
It's worth
it. ESPN2 on Monday nights when they do it. They're only doing like 12 of the 17 games or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's great.
Yeah, and if you're a cable cutter like me, you don't have cable TV, the NFL app has both of the feeds, the regular and the Manning show. So check it out. All right. Yeah, just heading into the last segment here, our picks for this week. Again, we do not discuss these ahead of time, so we could have duplicates. We could all pick the same exact games. But I'll start off since I went second last time, but I'll start off here just to throw out some of my picks. G-Man, this gives you time to make sure all your picks are aligned. You have what you need on your side.
Upset's not by spread. Upset's not by spread. The upset's not by spread. Remember that.
Hold it.
Yeah, I'd be careful there, Finn. You're already like 30 yards deep, so do you want to keep going, man?
Yeah.
Bring it.
I don't know. I got tons of these for you. Tons.
It's like an NFL game. Flags everywhere.
Oh, gosh. All right, so my picks this week. I'll start with my lock of the week. This is I went through a couple games. I'm going with the easy pick this week. I say that I may have just cursed myself. I'll knock on wood here. So, of course, the Jets are playing Cincinnati. The Bengals coming off that huge win, showing what they can do against a Jets team that cannot handle someone that's firing on both cylinders, offense and defense. So they are 11 points, I believe, favorites, but I think they'll cover that. Go ahead, Finn.
At 5,
I
anything to say
too
about it?
picked the Cincinnati Bengals over the Jets. They are without their starting cornerback,
Yep.
Zach Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
They are starting a guy named Kevin White, I believe it is. Michael White? I don't know.
He's
Sure.
up from the practice squad.
Yeah, they traded for Joe Flacco,
Mm-hmm.
and I just read an article about the dysfunction between that team. They are a mess, and yeah, I thought I saw 10.5 points, 11 points. It really doesn't matter. I mean, ultimately, I guess it does. Betting odds will probably bite me that I said that, but I do not believe that the Jets keep it even remotely close. Cincinnati runs away with it.
Yep.
Sorry, throws away, to Jamar Chase.
All right. I guess since we're on the topic, G-Man, we'll kick into your lock as well. Who do you feel is going to win no matter what this week?
Guys, those are good. But let me tell you something here, okay? Week 6, Titans beat the Bills. Week 7, Titans beat the Chiefs. Destroyed the Chiefs. You really think week 3 the Titans are going to lose to the Colts? It's a 1.5 point spread. It's a pick 'em at that point. I think the Titans are going to run right over the Colts. That's my pick. That's my lock of the week. Lock in Derrick Henry. All systems go. He's running right over the Colts.
So Colts by 21. Got it.
Yeah, okay.
No,
Sorry, Carson Wentz.
yeah, I did definitely see that there. I think the Colts have been picking it up, so it could be interesting. I think that'll be a good game. Honestly, I didn't. It wasn't a game that was necessarily on my radar, but now that I'm looking at it, I want to watch that game. That sounds like it's going to be pretty
Yeah.
close.
Sounds like a good game, but I think the Titans are going to win it. And it's not. It's a low spread. So all I need is a win. So like,
Fair
If I'm
enough.
not mistaken, I believe the Titans are actually underdogs in that game as well, because I believe it's at home against the Colts.
I checked and they were actually favorited by 1.5.
Let's
Okay.
go to the.
I could be wrong now because it was a while. It was earlier in this
I
morning that I
have
picked that.
Colts
So.
as 2.5 point favorites.
What?
Is that
There
what
you
you have,
go.
Finn?
Uh,
Wait, now what?
according to CBS, which uses the Caesars Sportsbook,
Mm-hmm.
yes, Indianapolis are the 2.5 point favorites in that game. So all Tennessee has to do is just like the Dolphins. I'm sorry, yeah, Tennessee. All they have to, like the Dolphins, just have to lose by 2 points and you cover.
Hey, well,
Or you can have their upset, whatever.
look, I think they're gonna cover that, whatever that is. And so like if they do lose and I do cover that, I get the point, right? Heck
We'll draw
Heck
the diagram. We'll have everything. Yeah, we'll get lawyers involved.
yeah.
No guy.
All right.
I am the NFL.
Jumping into upsets again, I'll kick it off here. So one of the games I was taking a look at. Now that we're talking spreads, let's go ahead and take. Yes, they are still underdogs. I think this will be a close game, but Dallas against Minnesota. Dallas is currently 3 point underdogs. They are away this week, but man, I don't think Minnesota can hang with Dallas. I think if Dallas has what they need, I think Dak has had a ankle or calf injury he's coming back from. Sounds
Is he
like
coming back?
I haven't heard that he's not playing.
So he just came out today and says that if it's up to him, he will play, but he has milestones he has to reach, and if he doesn't reach it, he will not play. ESPN has him currently slated at 0 points on fantasy football. They do not expect him to play.
Man, This is what happens when you don't do day of research. I guess I have to stick with it.
So, you want to know
Right.
something weird?
But he could still play. Don't. I mean, the odds seem to think that if Vikings are the favorites, that tends to be that they believe that he may not play, but that they still are a very talented team. I don't even know who their backup quarterback is this year. Oh no, Andy Dalton was last year. Yeah, I don't know who their backup is.
Yeah, he's on the. Yeah, he's not on there
Bears.
anymore. Interesting. Well,
That's
that
weird.
adds drama to it. I feel like I did 2 points if Dak does not play and they still cover. They still win.
See, do I also get 2 points because I also
No.
picked Dallas? No.
The Dallas
Wow.
fan picking Dallas.
Wow.
Shocker.
No. Wow. Okay, look. It was Slim Pickens. It was Slim Pickens
It
for
was
upsets.
this week. Yeah, there were not many upsets. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I am kind of scared because Dalvin Cook's in, and I'm like, oh my god. But I don't know.
They just haven't. I mean, they've had some good wins. I think Minnesota's record's not too bad. I mean, they're 3-3. They're so they just haven't gotten it going this year. But yeah, I'm still sticking with Dallas. I still think, hopefully Dak plays. Hopefully he reaches those. But Finn, with your infinite knowledge of wisdom, who did you pick this week?
I went with the terrible Atlanta Falcons. They got lucky last week. There's no way they're going to beat Carolina. Carolina, Sam Darnold's finally going to get it figured out again. He's not going to see the ghosts. And Carolina is going to beat Atlanta. It's just more. This is dumb, right? This is the betting books getting too smart, too fancy, and getting it wrong. Easy. Carolina all day.
All right, I'm putting easy right next to it. So when you're wrong,
I really did not like that pick. I put that down and I deleted it because I'm like, I looked at the history of the last 3 weeks. So I'm just like,
Oh, they played awful. And they have
I
no
think-
reason that they should even be in they should be in this game. But
No
that's
way.
the thing. Atlanta's
way.
bad. Atlanta's bad.
Atlanta's bad.
They almost lost to the Dolphins. They're bad.
Look, I would agree that they are bad, but the way that Carolina has been as of late, they are on par.
I mean, it was what 50-something to 3 last week. I mean, yeah.
That was the Jets against Patriots.
Was it?
Yeah. That was
What was their?
Patriots.
What was Carolina's? They got shut out. They got destroyed too, I believe.
Carolina was 25-3 versus the
Yeah.
Giants, which
Yeah, come on. I
I
mean,
think
I
that
was
was
close
their
enough.
second one.
Yeah.
So
Giants.
Easy.
Giants
No.
don't have no starting
I-
running back. No.
Yeah.
I think starting
Oh.
wide
And all the
receivers
receivers
are
were out.
out. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I think our upset is better than his upset 6, so I'm not even worried anymore.
Yeah.
We'll
We
find
got
out.
this. We got this.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, head into our last section. We'll go over our teams this week. Again, I'll kick it off. This week's rivalry game, Bucks against Saints. Typically, at least from my history and what I've always watched, this has been a field goal game. It's been a who can usually it's 12-9 finales, stuff like that. I don't think that's going to be the same thing this year. Saints, I don't think Alvin Kamara killed it last week. I don't know if one guy can keep them in check with all the weapons that the Bucks have. So the point spread is 4.5 to 5 points. I said last week I was gonna not flip flop again, but I just don't see the Saints coming within 5 points of the Bucks. I think the Bucks are gonna blow out this game again. 20 plus point lead. That's kind of what I'm envisioning. See, I gotta go with the Bucks outright winning. Covering the spread against the Saints. Anyone disagree there?
Nope, I would definitely agree with you there.
Perfect. It's in the books.
In
All
the
right.
books.
G-Man, we'll kick it over to you. with your Eagles this week. Do you want to give us a deep dive?
So the Eagles are favorited by 3.5 points against the Lions.
0-7.
I think that the Lions get their first win here. Shocker. I think that the Lions get their first win, and I'm pretty sure it's a home game. It is not a home. It is a home game for the Lions. Yeah. So I think that they get their first win here against the Eagles. I just can't defend the Eagles anymore. Like, I watched their last game against the Raiders. They all but gave them that win. They all but gave them that win. So I don't know. They don't have it. They don't have it. The Lions, when they have played, the Lions have been close to the team that they were facing. Almost, if I'm mistaken. Okay, the Rams wasn't very close. The Bengals, it wasn't very close, but they had some good games. The Eagles have just been dropping the ball lately, and I just don't see them winning that. I know it's the Lions. I know they have it. I know they don't have a win yet, but I don't know. I'm picking the Lions.
So are
You really think the Eagles
or
are dropping
cover?
the ball? Are the Eagles really dropping the ball, or is it an inaccurate pass from Hurts?
Low blow, man.
Okay. Listen, okay. I hope your team really doesn't get Deshaun Watson. I would hate for that Eagles headquarters behind you to be wiped from existence. That would be very sad for us. But anyways, Lions.
From that standpoint, G-Man, so we don't run into the same issue as last week, are the Lions covering or outright winning?
The Lions are covering the spread.
Okay.
That 3.5 point spread.
Gotcha.
And if they win, great, but I don't know. I don't care. I don't care anymore. Eagles. We have the most picks in the NFL right now, so I mean it is what it is. It's a rebuild year as far as I'm concerned.
I feel like this pick's out of spite more than anything else.
Yeah, it is. You wouldn't be wrong.
All right, Finn, I'm not sure I really have to ask the question, but we're gonna give you some time to talk. Dolphins are playing the Bills, coming off of a bye week. Your thoughts?
This is easy. This would have been my lock of the week, right? The Dolphins, Tua, 38 of 40 passes right on the hands of the receivers. They're getting Devontae Parker back. Jerome Baker's going to be healthy. Xavier Howard should be 1 week closer to being healthy. Byron Jones is getting back to being healthy. The Dolphins may have gotten better by not forcing the ball to Malcolm Brown. And the Dolphins are still going to lose by more than 14 points. There is absolutely no way Miami covers this spread. They're not even going to get close. It's going to be it's bad, right? The Dolphins do not know how to play the Bills. They don't know how to scheme them defensively. They don't know how to scheme them offensively. Josh Allen has his best games against Miami. This is in Buffalo after a bye week. This is the game that a lot of people are penciling in that will be the deal breaker for Miami and say we need to go out and get Watson because they don't even expect it to be close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% pencil it in, bet the Bills, make the Bills, and get paid.
The last one was a home game too, wasn't it?
The last game. What do you mean?
The Bills versus Miami. It was a home game.
It basically
was. For Josh Allen.
It basically was. And Josh Allen is very, very easy to hate. And I will not root for that dude ever.
But he always takes a W when he faces Miami. Just flag, 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 flag.
Oh, man.
I guess if you get enough flags, anything's possible, right?
Miami can't even get the ball when the ball hits the opposing team on a punt return. Then the NFL turns a blind eye and says, nope, it didn't touch the fingertip. Nope, it didn't touch the foot.
Well, hopefully there's no more of that. Cross my fingers.
All right.
Do you see my face?
Yeah, it looks like you're being eaten by a shark. It's hilarious. I'm trying not to look at you this entire time because it makes a lot.
I wasn't sure if he had a question or he just was uncomfortable. I'm not sure what's going on over there.
Me neither.
All right, heading into final thoughts. With me being the host this week, I got to pretty much showcase my thoughts throughout the podcast. So, Finn, I'll hand to you first. If you'd like to use it on the referees, feel free. Your final
This
thoughts.
is easy. Final thought. If you would have given me the 600th ball, it would have been a lot more than a Bitcoin and $1,000 at the team store. I would have held it for ransom. Brady would have been giving me his firstborn child. No, actually, good job for that guy giving the ball back. As much as I hate Brady, I would have given the ball back too. Congrats on the Bitcoin. Congrats on the season tickets and everything that happened. You did it right. Good job, sir.
Yeah, I would have done season tickets for life. I mean, come on. I gave you back the one huge memento, the never been achieved before record. Get me in this seat for life, man.
Yeah.
Um, G-Man, I'll pass to you for your final thoughts.
So I don't really have any final thoughts, but you are going on vacation next week, right?
This is true.
So I think it's fair to address that you probably won't make the stream next year. So
Next year, next week.
next week, year, I don't know.
Where G-Man lives, it's time. Time is
Yeah.
just a construct for him.
Time is just a construct in the Matrix.
Yes, that is
So
true. I'll be out of town next week, so and I think it's the Bucks bye week if I remember correctly as well. So that worked out pretty well. But I know Finn has some connections, so we'll see if we can get a special guest to fill in and still have some three-man banter going on.
Yeah, if we do get a guest in, it'll be somebody quick just to recap the Bucks game as they take on the Saints, and you'll still plan on getting us your pick ins, but we'll see. We'll talk about that. Tune in next week for all that fun stuff. This week, just sit back, enjoy, and make money by following my 3 picks.
Definitely not recommended. If you've watched any of our podcasts, you'll.
not with that Carolina pick. Not with that Carolina pick. No way.
All right.
Go
Well,
Atlanta.
Finn's leaving the stream already. Appreciate everyone showing up. Thanks again for another exciting week. I hope you enjoyed the costumes and the finale here. But yeah, we'll see you guys again next Friday at the same time. Bye, everyone.
See ya.